Pimentel Selassie, and I'm a naturopathic doctor. And I'm so glad to have you all join me today for this live webinar. And we're going to be discussing today how to have energy, how to stay healthy, and how to do well in a... Oops.
1, 2, 3, pulsing.
My exercise video is playing. Okay. So my name is Dr. Patricia Pimentel Selassie. I'm a naturopathic doctor. And I'm so excited to be here on this live cast hanging out with you. And today we're going to discuss all the different things that you can do to stay healthy and feel vibrant, start to lose some weight. We're going to talk about detoxification, and we're going to talk protein. Because protein, that might seem like not such a big deal to some people. Oh, sure, they know about protein and they know that it's a part of an essential diet. But what you'll find out is that protein is very, very, very important for detoxification and helping you to stay vibrant and healthy during your day, okay, because it helps balance out your blood sugar. But first, I want to say a little bit about me. My name is Dr. Patricia Pimentel Selassie, and I am a mother of 4 children. I have 4 daughters, all under the age of 12. And I'm also a wife, and I'm also a daughter. You know, if my mom is watching out there, hi, Mom. My mom is an amazing woman. She's a 2-time cancer survivor. So I am constantly trying to see how many times in the year I can squeeze in to get some extra time from Mom. Let's see, what else do I do? I'm also a radio show host. So I host a live radio show on health and wellness every single Monday with Invite Health Radio, and it plays in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Florida, New York, and New Jersey. Okay, and once a week I work for that lovely supplement company called Invite Health. And then after all of that, I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I see patients, and I help patients deal with skin issues. I help patients with diabetes. I help them get their numbers normal, their blood sugar numbers normal. I help people with high blood pressure also to get their numbers normal and their blood pressure normal. I help people manage their weight. I help people with all kinds of issues, joint health, fibroids, fertility. I've had some women get pregnant after working with me. So I live a very, very full and active life, as you can imagine, you know, with my 4 girls and seeing patients and on the radio and working for the supplement company and also being a wife and a daughter and a sister. And the truth is all of us have very busy lives. So I'm sure you can relate. So if you're not doing everything that I'm doing, which is raising children and having a career and a thriving business, then I'm sure you're probably either, 1, working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and you have a family, or you could be a student and working, you know, full-time student, full-time job. Or you could be a be working full-time, but then you're also growing a business. And that's just the way the world is these days. Everybody is living and leading these intense lives that have lots from the moment they get up until the moment they lay down at night. It's just jammed packed. And that's just the nature of our society now, especially if you live here in Brooklyn, New York, or in Manhattan. And we're all kind of stressed out. And on top of that, you know, we live in a world where technology is growing at an accelerated rate. Okay, so everybody is sort of texting on their phone instead of relating to each other. People are walking down the street on their cell phones. People are spending more time in front of the computer than they are talking to a human being, as I am right now. And so the thing is we're all living these really busy lives. But despite all that, despite living in a toxic world with accelerated technology, despite living in a toxic world with a environment that is more, again, toxic than it ever has been in the whole health of the existence of the human being, and with our food that's somewhat compromised, not somewhat, but very much so compromised due to industrial agriculture and modern day living, then it can be really, really hard to be healthy and vibrant in this type of in this type of world and this type of life that we live in. But the good thing is you can be healthy and you can be vibrant and you can have energy and you can lose that weight and speed back up your metabolism and have glowing skin despite what you're up against. And I'm going to tell you different ways that you can do that in just a minute. So one of the things that I like to talk about is our food supply. Okay, so there's some popular misconceptions that, okay, well, I'm really healthy, I eat organic, if I just eat the right foods, I'm going to be healthy. Or I've heard some other people say things like, okay, well, I eat, I don't eat so well, but look at me, I'm 50 years old and I'm doing just fine. Or there's somebody who might say, well, like, as long as I just avoid junk food, if I just eat, if I just buy all my food from a health food store, I'll be okay. But see, the thing is what people don't really realize is that if we look at Americans as a whole, we more than ever have alarming rates of diabetes and heart disease and obesity and chronic illness, including cancer, that we never have before. Okay, so with these alarming rates of diabetes and cancer, we have to look at our lifestyles. And with technology, as I mentioned, going faster and having a faster turnover than ever before, we're going to have a really hard time saying, well, no, we got to slow down. We all got to take a breather. We all got to de-stress. It's difficult because our lives are stressful. And with our food supply, it can also be really hard to just eat organic and local all the time. Especially when you see certain things that we have, like, for example, a pesticide called Roundup. Most people know it by Roundup, but its chemical name is glyphosate. Glyphosate is I usually give a list of chemicals to show how toxic our food supply is. But if we even just look at this one, if we even look at just Roundup, we could see how detrimental of an effect it has and how we eat it, and it affects our bodies and our health. See, Roundup is a weed killer, and Roundup is so strong that it actually, when they first started using it, it wouldn't just kill the weeds and the pesticides, but it would kill the actual crop itself. Okay, but in around the 1980s, a lot of these industrial agriculture groups, they started to genetically modify our foods so that they were resistant to Roundup. Okay, so now a lot of our foods, in fact, 90% of most of the major crops in the United States, like soy and corn and wheat, are genetically modified. And that's so that they're resistant to Roundup. So if you're eating genetically modified crops, which most of us are, because that's what's available to us, not only are we eating what I call Franken food, because it's not original food whose DNA is normal, it's a genetically modified food, then we're also getting exposed to Roundup. And Roundup, like I said, is a powerful weed killer, pesticide killer that you cannot wash off, that gets deep inside your food and then gets deep inside of you. Okay, and it can affect many things, including killing some of what we call our microbiome, which is the friendly bacteria that resides and lives in our intestine. And this microbiome, they're finding out, the most current research is showing that the microbiome is responsible for our immunity, it's responsible for our gut health, our brain health, and responsible for a lot more than we think in our health. So we're destroying our microbiomes daily with the food that we're eating, and we're being exposed to chemical toxic pesticides that need to be conjugated by our livers. And then we're also eating food that our body recognizes as foreign, okay? And it's a stress on our body, okay? So that being said, now that I've painted a picture of doom and gloom, I'm here to tell you that there's lots of things that you can do despite the technology, despite the high level of stress that we have and the loss of human interaction that we're getting more and more used to. And despite the foods that are available to us, there's lots of things that we can do in order to live a healthy, vibrant life and to get it all done. So a lot of people ask me, well, how do you do it, Dr. Selassie? You have 4 daughters. And like I said, I work for the supplement company. I'm on the radio. I have a private practice. I also have a thriving business. how do you do it? Well, the way that I do it is by taking care of me and using self-devotion. So a lot of us who are working 40 hours a week, most of the time we're in 40 or 50 or 60, we're in a service-based job, so we're servicing others. Or if you're a parent, you're parenting your children. Or if you are just a giving person, you're always giving out and serving others before you serve yourself. Okay, but the only way, because again, we're living in a world where the chances of us being vibrant and healthy are sort of against us. The only way that you're going to be able to continue to serve others and to be great in your job and to support your thriving business and to be fully there 100% for all your relationships is really to take care of you first. Okay, so I said that if you've read some of my emails coming, a lot of you know that I'm going to talk about protein today. And some of you might think, well, protein, what's the big deal? You know, we've heard that protein is an essential part of the diet. But what I find is the standard American diet doesn't really focus well on protein. And protein sources would be things like fish and eggs and meats and nuts and seeds and legumes and beans and protein powders I include as a source of protein. So like your whey protein, or you could do a plant-based protein. There's a lot of them coming out now. If you really look in a health food store, you'll see that there's a lot of plant-based proteins. And a lot of these supplement companies come out wanting to mimic what's current in the research. Okay, so what's current in the research is they're really seeing that it's important to have good protein in the body in order to support, number one, I mentioned your microbiome, which is the friendly bacteria that live in your gut, but also your blood sugar levels. Okay, so all of us have a certain amount of blood sugar in our bloodstreams. And that's what gives us energy to get going during the day so that you can be a great parent, you can be a good worker, you can be a good business owner. And the thing is if you're not getting enough protein, those blood sugar levels end up going up and down, okay? So you eat some carbs and your blood sugar shoots straight up, and then it shoots straight as it gets used by your muscles and your organs and your vital organs, your blood sugar drops way down. And then you get cranky, and then you feel tired, and then you feel fatigued. And what you need to do is, and what often happens to most people, is that sends them to the vending machine at work or the corner deli to get something like soda and chips, or to the refrigerator in the middle of the night. But if you start to eat protein, good quality protein, especially in the morning and at every meal and snack, then your blood sugar doesn't do such high spikes and dips. Now you have a more even blood sugar flow, okay? And the reason is because protein takes a lot longer to digest than carbohydrates. And if you have protein that takes a lot longer to digest, it's going to supply sugar into your bloodstream at a slower rate, and you're just going to get a little bit of sugar one at a time into your bloodstream. Okay, so if you get sugar into your body a little bit at a time, then you're going to feel more even throughout the day. Okay, so protein at every meal and snack is very, very important. And what we're finding is that people who have protein in the morning, they actually do better on tests. So they've tested students and they've tested them if they've had protein in the morning. So your children, think about it, your children, and giving them protein in the morning, very important. So what do we give ourselves for breakfast mostly in the morning? It's going to be mostly carbohydrates. So you have a waffle, or you have a piece of toast, or you have a pancake, or you have a Danish, or you have a donut, or you have cold cereal, or you have hot cereal, right? But you're not having any protein. And again, protein sources are going to be things like eggs and meat and fish and nuts and legumes and beans. And some ways that you can incorporate protein into your morning would be things like protein shakes. Okay, protein shakes are so simple. You take a scoop of protein powder, you stick it in some water, or my favorite, almond milk or coconut milk, and you shake it up and you drink it. That's a great way to add more sustenance to your life and more health. Okay, so that's one thing that I want to say about protein. You want to include protein in your breakfast. Okay, and also throughout the day. So how do you know if you've had enough protein in your day? Well, one of my colleagues and my good friends, Dr. Jade Tata, we were at Bastyr University together. He's a naturopathic doctor. He always says that you have to keep your schmeck in check. Oh, okay. I see that it's going to be backwards. It's going to be backwards on the live cast, but you got to keep your schmeck in check. So what does schmeck stand for? Schmeck is your sleep and your moods and your hunger and your energy and your cravings, okay? And see, I can't turn it over for you because it's a whiteboard. But anyways, it's sleep, moods, hunger, energy, and cravings, okay? So you want to make sure, so these are the things that are going to tell you if you've had enough protein in your diet. So are you sleeping good? So if you're not sleeping well, it means that you're probably having a dip in blood sugar during the night. Okay, so it means if you had enough protein, you would have sustained a slow release blood sugar, a slower release of the blood sugar into your bloodstream and in sustaining your body while you sleep at night. So if you're not sleeping well, it could mean that you didn't have enough protein during the day. Okay, if your moods are shifting, so if you're one of those ones that gets irritable at a certain amount after a certain few hours, and you think, oh, I'm hungry, you know, I'll feel better if I just have a piece of cake. Honestly, you will feel better because you're dumping a lot of sugar into your blood, and then that sugar rush gives you a surge of a false sense of feeling good, but it's actually not a healthy way. You're really sending your hormones into like a crazy spin. If you have protein, then protein's going to help to sustain, again, your blood sugar levels in your body, and it'll help with moods. If you find yourself hungry during the day, it also means that you probably need more protein in your diet. And if you lose energy, same thing. Okay, some people, again, if they're losing energy, they run for things like chips and quick foods and sugar that will give them a false sense of energy, but it's not giving them true health, a true sense of vitality and vibrancy. And then last of all, cravings. If you're not having enough protein in the morning, you're going to crave carbohydrates in the evening. So you want to keep your schmeck in check. And again, that's Dr. Jade Tata, naturopathic doctor. Okay, I just had to borrow it because I think he's so right. You got to keep your schmeck in check if you want to feel good. And the way that you do that is you add protein into your diet. Now, I talked about Roundup and how detrimental that is. That's just one chemical that your body is getting exposed to daily. And if any of you have gone to my lectures before, you know I can give you a whole list of all the toxicities that we're exposed to. For example, anytime you see fragrances, that's phthalates, and phthalates contribute, they're called obesogens because they've contributed to childhood obesity here in America. And again, that's proven in the research. If you are eating out of soft plastics, or you're heating up your food in the microwave with saran wrap or in a soft Tupperware, you're exposing yourself to what are called xenoestrogens. They're false estrogens that have an estrogen-like action on your body. There's other things like PCBs, and there's, I mentioned phthalates, there's dioxins, which are things that bleach. There's so many chemicals, up to 80,000, that have been introduced into our environment in the last decade that our body has to process. Okay, and so if you all are tuned into the live cast and you look, I believe right above where you can see my face, there's a couple downloads, and I want you to click on those and print them out right now, because I'm going to show you how else protein is really important. Now, protein is very, very important, not just for keeping your blood sugar even, but also for detoxification. Okay, and so here is diagram number 1. Okay, so I want you all to get out a highlighter and look at diagram number 1. And if you look at the top, it's a diagram about the liver, and the liver goes through 2 different phases, phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And this is something that is happening every single day that you're doing minute to minute, because your liver filters about a half a gallon of blood every single minute. Okay, imagine that. Okay, and our bodies are filled with about 3 gallons worth of blood. So imagine that your body is filtering 1/6 of your blood every single minute. That's a lot of blood to go through your liver. Okay, and so your liver now does phase 1 detoxification, and that's where in the first pass, when that blood goes through your liver, in that first pass, it removes all the toxicity, all the toxins that are in your liver. And it could be toxins that you've breathed in, toxins that you've ingested, even toxins that go through your skin. Okay, and so these toxins, they need to be what's called conjugated. So these toxins are removed out of the bloodstream and they're packaged up. Okay, and that's what phase 1 is. It basically takes a toxin and it packages it up into a little convenient package, basically, so that the body can excrete it out. The problem is that little package that phase 1 makes is actually pretty reactive. It's reactive in the body, and I wonder if any of you know the term free radicals. So it's considered a free radical in the body, and what free radicals do are exactly what they sound like. They're radical and they're free, and they bounce all around your body, and they hit your tissues, and they damage your skin, and they damage your organs, and they basically age you and make you old. Okay, so the liver has to go through phase 2 detoxification to neutralize the free radicals, and I hope you're following along on your sheet here. So during phase 2, it takes those packages that phase 1 had and dumps them out of your blood. It dumps it into your stool or into your urine, or helps push it out through your skin for detoxification. Okay, so that's phase 2 of detoxification. The problem with phase 1 and phase 2, what problems can arise, I guess I should say, with phase 1 and phase 2 is that if your phase 1 is working very well, but your phase 2 is sluggish, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have a whole bunch of those free radicals stored up, and they're going to be continuously damaging your body. And you want to be careful with this, because when you damage some tissue and that tissue now starts to grow in an abnormal way, that could possibly turn into cancer. At best, if you're unable to neutralize the toxins, then that means that you are aging. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure that you have all the nutrients necessary for phase 1 detoxification so that it can take those toxins, put them into that package, and then you want to give the right nutrients for phase 2 detoxification so that it can take those packages and move them out of your body. Okay, so what do we rely on for phase 1 detox? And of course, if phase 1 detoxification is sluggish and you can't make a package in the first place, guess where those toxins are going to stay? They're going to keep rolling around and swimming around in your body. Okay, so what are the nutrients that you need for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification? Well, we need things like, and it has it all right here on the list. So we need things like, right here it's listed, vitamin B, folic acid, glutathione, flavonoids, and then there's a whole bunch of nutrients needed for phase 2 detoxification, which again, a lot of the B vitamins, folic acid, vitamin C. But I guess you didn't realize that when you see a lot of these names like methionine, cysteine, glutathione, glycine, taurine, glutamine, and then over here on this side, glutathione, then you have to understand that these are from proteins. Okay, so you need what are called amino acids from protein in order to conduct phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification so you can move toxins outside of your body. If you're not getting enough protein, you're not going to have enough of those nutrients that are necessary to help you to remove toxins out of your body. Very, very important to maintain your health. And see, if you're over toxic, you're going to feel tired. You're not going to feel happy. You're going to feel, your body actually will break down little by little. Okay, so you got to get the toxins out. I also want you to look at this sheet, which again, you can download from the same page. I think it's right above where you see my face. There's 2 downloads. This is the second download. Okay, and it's basically the same diagram with phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification, and it shows you all the nutrients that you need. So you might want to take a highlighter and highlight branch chain amino acids, that's BCAAs, glutathione. Over here we have glutathione, and we have more amino acids. So you need those. Those are all from protein, and you need those in order to conduct phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. Okay, so now you understand the importance of protein in your body, right? Okay, so protein helps you keep your SHMEC in check, which again, my friend Dr. Jade Tata reminds us that your SHMEC stands for your sleep, your moods, your hunger, your cravings, and your energy, or your energy and your cravings. And it also helps you conduct detoxification on a daily basis. So helping you to detoxify phase 1 with your liver through phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. Very, very important. Okay, so those are two things. That's what the one take-home tip that I want you to get out of today's webinar is that you've got to include protein at every meal and snack, and especially breakfast. It's very important for breakfast, especially if you live here in America. I mean, I know that we might have some viewers from out of this country, but here in America, the standard American breakfast are things again like toast and pancakes and waffles and cold cereal and dry cereal. All of those things are carbohydrates. You've got to get some protein in your morning. And some protein ideas could be things like sardines and greens. You know, sardines and greens might seem like a strange breakfast, but in a lot of countries, sardines is a very acceptable breakfast, and a really good one too, because you're going to have lots of omega-3 fatty acids, which are really good for your brain health. You also want to consider, in this modern day and age, the protein shake. Okay, protein shakes are a really convenient fast food that works well in modern society, because all you have to do is take a scoop of protein powder, stick it in a shaker or a blender, shake it up and drink it. And that can accompany your breakfast. Especially, you can still have your toast, but have a protein shake too. If you're looking for a more standard protein type breakfast, think about eggs. You know, some people who eat eggs would have that would be a really great way of sticking some protein in your morning breakfast that doesn't seem so strange. Another one that I like that they do in Japan is eat miso soup. So miso soup usually has some good protein in it. It has some vegetables. It usually has, miso is a protein. It's a fermented soy. And usually you're going to find some tofu in there as well. Okay, so there's some protein ideas. Oh, other ideas, okay, if you're going to have your cereal or you're going to have your yogurt, you want to make sure that you're doing a lower sugar and a lower sugar yogurt or cereal, and you want to add nuts to it. If you add nuts to it, again, you're adding protein to your morning breakfast. Another one are nut butters. So just like if you blend up peanuts and you have a peanut butter, you can blend up almonds and you have an almond butter, or you can blend up sesames and you have a sesame seed butter. Think about spreading those on top of your toast instead of just butter or cream cheese. That's another way to add protein to your diet. Okay, so protein, that's a big take-home message that I want for you today out of this live cast webinar. Okay, another lifestyle tip that I want to tell you. And again, if you're just joining, I see that we're getting even some more new viewers as the live cast continues. And what I shared with everyone earlier is that I live a busy life. I have 4 beautiful daughters, and I'm a wife and a daughter, and I'm a doctor, and I work for a supplement company, and I'm a radio show host in Cleveland and Pittsburgh and Miami and New York and New Jersey. Okay, and I live an exciting, healthy, vibrant life. And I want to share with you, how do I do it? Because a lot of people ask me, Dr. Selassie, I don't know how you do it. You're just all over the place. Well, the truth is I love my life. And the only way that I can honestly conduct the busy schedule that I do, and I know you all have busy schedules as well. That's why I'm trying to share with you what my life is like, is with self-devotion. Okay, so one way that I make sure that I do self-devotion is I make sure that my SHMEC is in check, okay? I'm always watching, am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough, are my moods okay? Am I hungry? Am I having sugar cravings? Do I have energy? These are important things for me to monitor, okay? So a lot of you who are moms or dads or in service-based business are always thinking about everybody else. You're thinking about your clients, or you're thinking about your children, or you're thinking about your spouse, or you're thinking about your parents. You want to think about yourself so that you can be a better parent, you can be a better daughter, you can be a better doctor, you can be a better service provider, okay? So you got to think about yourself first, okay? So keep your schmeck in check. That's one way I do it. Another way that I do it is I exercise every single morning. And this is, movement is so important. And movement is something that you really do for yourself and your own body. Okay, and I'm not saying that every morning from now on you have to go out and run 5 miles, or you have to get on the treadmill, or you have to start being a bodybuilder and lifting weights, or that you have to get a gym membership. I'm saying that you take 15 minutes of your own life, and you reserve that time for you, and you go out and do some kind of movement that you like, that will help you and your body. And it's exercise is like a meditation. When you're exercising, you're not really thinking about your things to do list, because you're pretty much breathing hard. Okay. Walking, riding a bike, even doing some simple stretches. You want to do whatever you can from wherever you are. Of course, if you're elderly and you have weak knees, you could sit in a chair and you could do some stretches, or you could lift some light weights. If you are an athlete, then go for it. I want you to really push yourself. And the thing about that I hear mostly about exercise is, Dr. Selassie, I don't have enough time. But my message to you today on this live webinar is that you have to make time. You have to steal time for you in order to be self-devoted to you. Okay, and let me remind you that self-devotion, it is an investment. Okay, it is an investment. And you have to think about, you might have to invest in yourself in order to live that healthy, vibrant life that you want. Okay, so you also want to think about things like, what are the tools that you might need to be devoted to yourself? It might mean that you need to invest in protein shakes. It might mean that you need to invest in a gym membership. It might mean that you need to go to Barnes & Nobles or your local bookstore and get a whole bunch of beautiful journals so that you can start writing exercises for yourself, okay? Take the time out in your daily life to meditate. And a lot of times putting things down on paper, when we're so used to entering our schedules and writing any letters on the computer, there's something really special about putting your thoughts onto paper. Okay, and I'm not going to analyze why that is. I'm not going to analyze why, like, writing your goals out on paper seem to work more than writing them out on a computer. I'm going to leave that up to the metaphysicists. But it's true. If you write down your thoughts and your feelings on paper, there's something really special. There's something that slows down the process. There's something that creates something. Instead of a thought being floating around in your head, it's actually becoming concrete by putting it down on paper. So I want you to process some of your thinking on paper with pencils, and I want you to write your goals down. Writing your goals down is really important it's a self-devotion exercise that will help you to conduct your life where you're in control, rather than you getting up in the morning and seeing who needs what from me. You want to write down your goals so you know, where do I need to put my attention? Okay, so today we talked about protein, and we talked about the role of protein in balancing out your blood sugar. We talked about protein and how it helps you conduct phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And I talked to you a little bit about being devoted and supporting yourself through your self-devotion. Okay, you want to make time for yourself, self-devotion, and you can do that in many ways. You can steal time for exercise. You can make sure that you invest in protein or a gym membership or journals. You can write, and you can write out your goals, write out your feelings and your thoughts, and you can just create a special time just for you. Other things that I like, other tips that I like to tell people about self-devotion. Okay, so maybe you can't schedule time today, but you can schedule time in 2 weeks. And that's what I do for myself. So sometimes if I'm feeling really stressed out and I'm feeling like I need to pause and I need to do something really nice for myself, like schedule in a massage, but it feels like, okay, my life is too crazy. I can't go see my acupuncturist right now. I can't go get a massage right now. But you know what? I can in 2 weeks. So I schedule it in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks comes up. Believe me, I still needed that massage. Okay, so I want you to do that too. And so I have an opportunity for you today that I want to share with you. It's called the 7-Day Devotional Detox. Okay, and this is a program that I've designed, and it's for detoxification, and it's for you to invest in some self-devotion. And this, again, is a program that's coming out of my life and my experience. I would never recommend a program to you that I haven't done myself. Okay, so what I like to do at least 4 times a year, but you know, you could potentially do this more often, even every other month. You want to think about doing a detox. Okay, so detoxification is very, very important for helping to support your liver in doing phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. Okay, remember your liver is detoxifying every single day. And remember, I talked about how toxic our environment is. It's very, very important that we actually take moments out of our year or out of our life to detoxify from all of the toxins and all of the headaches and all of the you know, the fast-paced, stressful energies of today's society, as well as the technology that's getting faster and faster every day. It's really important for us to devote time and take a pause. You got to take a pause. You got to allow your liver to catch up in cleaning up out your body of all of these toxins, like I talked about Roundup earlier, but also the phthalates and the xenoestrogens. You got to take some time where you're doing journal exercises every single day. You got to take some time to really prep and get those healthy foods in that you need to do to conduct phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. So I have a detox that's coming up. I'm going to be detoxing for 7 days from June 22nd until June 28th. And this is my invitation to you to join me, okay? So I have a great new membership site, and I'm really excited about it. It's like an imaginary room out here in the internet world, and you're gonna get an exclusive, if you sign up to do my 7-day devotional detox, you're going to get an exclusive username and password into this membership portal. And in this membership portal, you're going to find all of the things that I've used during my detoxes that I will be using with this detox I do with you. And again, it's from June 22nd until June 28th. So what you're going to do is you're going to get an instructional sheet that tells you all the things that you have to do while you're detoxifying. Okay, so there's going to be like the body rub, and there's going to be making sure you're getting enough water, making sure you're getting enough sleep. Then there's going to be an extensive grocery list, and this grocery list has all of the very important foods that you need in order to conduct optimal detoxification. Okay, so these are the healthiest foods that are going to help you use phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification and catch up, because oftentimes our livers are overwhelmed. And these foods are going to support detoxification in your body. Okay, so you're going to get this grocery list. You're also going to get, in this membership portal, this exclusive site, you're also going to get a devotion every single day, all 7 days. And what I mean by a devotion is you're going to get basically, it's going to be a journal entry. There's going to be a little blurb written by me with a couple of quotes that really will help you to think about different things like your spirituality, what's important to you, how you want to go forward in your life, encouraging a positive mindset, helping you to achieve goals and get your habits strong. It's going to help you do a mental exercise in adding those things into your life. Okay, so you're going to commit yourself to these 7 days, and then hopefully carry it forward as you finish your detoxification. Because the thing is you're going to feel great. Okay, if you do these exercises, if you write in the journal and you read the quotes and you really think about it, you're going to have a really amazing mind shift. Okay, it might be subtle, you might not feel all the energy, but I guarantee after having walked many people through this detox, they come up feeling empowered and strong with a new positive mindset going forward after the detox. Okay, the other thing that you're going to get, if you choose, so there's the one option where you get the exclusive password, username and password to the exclusive membership site with the information about how to conduct a good detox and the grocery list and the journal. And if you choose to accelerate the results and really give yourself supplements, herbal supplements to support your liver and your other organs of elimination during detoxification, like your gut, you'll get supplements that you can add into your 7 days to help accelerate kidney function and liver function and helping your gut to move toxins out. These are not laxatives. They're not going to make you run to the bathroom. And these are all safe nutrients that are absolutely safe to take with your medication. I've totally checked it out, and I'm very, very careful about that, and I'm very knowledgeable about whether herbal supplements are safe or not. These are very safe, and if you want to, you can choose to add those supplements to give you that extra push towards detoxification. And it's called the 7-day devotional detox. And the results that people are getting are they leave after these 7 days, they complete the 7 days, and they report to me feeling just amazing, vibrant. They feel healthier. They have an understanding of what foods that they need to go forward eating after the 7 days. They have a boundless sense of energy. They have a new lease on life. Some people have lost 7 pounds, which I think is amazing, 7 pounds in 7 days. A lot of times the human body is carrying up to 8 pounds of feces, of toxic feces, that is recycling the toxicities back into our bodies. Some people release that, and some people actually release fat. And that's because when you go and you start giving your body the nutrients that it needs and stop stressing out the body with toxicities and poor food and bad food and actually giving your liver a break, then it resets your hormones and your metabolism starts to move again and go faster. That's why people leave feeling energized. You know, it's sort of like getting an oil change done on your car. Your car seems to drive a little bit smoother. Things seem to just hum a little bit better. You just feel like you're coasting on the highway a little bit better. It's the same way after going through a detox. And I ask you to think about joining my detox. So there's lots of detoxes out there, and there's lots of people that are saying, oh, you hear Gwyneth Paltrow or Beyonce doing a liquid detoxification, and so you want to do that one. Well, I'm going to caution against it, because oftentimes when you're not having enough protein and you're not eating real food and you're doing some of these juices, they're actually very, very high in sugar, even though it might be all carrots and greens. It's like 10 carrots of greens without carrots, 10 carrots without the sugar, and people are actually drinking this, and it looks like sugar to the body. And so there you are, fasting off of basically sugar water. You're not getting the protein that you need, that I showed you was so important for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification, and you're going to feel bad, and you might actually have a health crisis, which might feel something like a terrible migraine headache or a terrible rash. We want to try to encourage a health crisis, but do it in a gentle and a gentle way that you can afford to that you can afford to deal with. Okay, nothing too crazy, nothing dangerous. Okay, you want to detoxify in a safe way always. Okay, and that's the other thing, is if you go through this 7-day devotional detox with me, just remember that I'm going to be doing it right along with you, and so will your fellow detoxers. And so in this exclusive membership site, there's going to be a page where we can communicate with each other. So we can cheer each other on. We can say, oh, this is what I had for lunch. What do you think? We can say, oh, good job. And that's really, really helpful, so that you don't feel like you're going through a detox alone. It's a really, it can be really intense going through a detox. It can be difficult, when you go through the detox, that's when you're going to notice things like French fries and ice cream that you never really had a problem with before. All of a sudden in a detox, it might be tough. But if you have that community there, if you have me there cheering you on, and believe me, I rely on you too. If we can rely on each other, then we're going to be a lot more successful together. And isn't that what it's all about? Isn't it all about community and building healthier communities so we can have healthier lives and make a larger impact on this world? I mean, that's what I would like to think it is. So please consider joining me for this 7-day devotional detox. It's again from June 22nd to June 28th, and I'll be doing it right along with you. All you have to do is on the live event page, there's a link there that'll click you to the Meet Me Online page, okay? And then you can register to do the detox. There's a short registration form. You just fill that out. And then the cost to go through these 7 days is very reasonable. It's $97. If you want the supplements, it's an extra $37 plus $6 shipping, okay? And I encourage you to do it right now if you want to join me, especially if you're going to get the supplements, because you want to make sure that you allow time for that United States Postal Service to get you the supplements on time, okay? So you can start from day one, okay? And again, supplements are optional, because if you're eating those right foods to support detoxification, and like I told you, protein is major, but there's other nutrients too, fibers, vegetables, and you saw on these 2 sheets that there were other nutrients listed here. So study these sheets. If you eat the right foods and you get the right nutrients, you'll also detoxify. So again, the supplements are optional. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this live webinar. I certainly did. This was my first one ever, and I think it went well. I enjoyed it. I hope that you got some really good health tips, and you remember that you have to take care of yourself first, and you have to keep your schmeck in check by making sure you're getting protein at every meal and snack. And I want to stay connected. So if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, make sure that you click on my website on the upper right-hand corner and enter in your name and your email address, and I will be sending newsletters with health tips out to you as often as I can, at least once a month. Okay, and my name is Dr. Patricia Pimentel-Selassie. I'm known as a doctor you can talk to, and here's wishing you vibrant health now and well into the future. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a great session, and I hope you got a lot of great little health tips. And don't forget to devote some time for you.